side.
We are live here at a super secret location on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. We've found some shade to drink some beer, found some good company. I am Sam Wynn. My man Jeff Fryman is here. And our special guests today are Cliff Edgar and Ian Brooks. The men behind Brick and Bones. Obviously, there's some other people involved in the process as well. Chef's back there cranking out some fried chicken for us, so we're gonna get to have a little snack here in a few minutes. But for now, we drink beer, and I'm gonna watch these guys make faces while we chug down a growler of IPA in about 10 minutes. So, thank you guys for joining us, and thanks for being a part of it.
Absolutely.
Brick and Bones. Tell me about who you are. What's Brick and Bones?
We're close to being 3 years old. We opened in August, 2.5 years ago. So in August will be our 3rd year anniversary. So this is the Pilsner?
No, this is
IPA.
IPA.
Oh, okay.
So I figured
Yeah,
we'd get
I'm
the
gonna
hot
make a
one out of the
face.
way.
Definitely gonna make a face.
Oh yeah.
So if I just like chug it, is there anything like bad?
Jason Burt did it last week. He did it with the 10.5% alcohol version of this. All these Deep Ellum boys are making IPAs disappear. I love it.
They said 10 minutes. I'm trying to set a record.
Well, yeah.
Has anyone done that before on an episode?
Last week,
Jason Burt did it with a double IPA, so literally the double version of this one was 10.5% alcohol. And then,
that was impressive.
I gotta follow suit. So.
Have you guys heard of Dogfish out
Yeah.
of Delaware? So I had that challenge of the 90-minute and had to chug a 90-minute, and that's just
Yes.
What? Nice. And Breckenridge, okay.
Got a little Budweiser tattooed on there.
so. Thank you for thinking of us, Sam. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being a part of it. You guys are, this is one of my favorite places in the neighborhood. In a neighborhood full of as much awesomeness as we have, it's hard to go and, share time with everybody, but we see each other around the block, out in front of Anvil, here behind your bar.
Anvil.
I always sit at this end of your bar, and you always sit at that end of your bar, so we do the handshake, and then we go sit at our
Yes. That's
our respective
This is
ends
my
of the
side,
bar.
that's your side, stay over there.
But not that everybody, has to have a thing, but when I think of a thing associated with Brick and Bones, I think about the late night badass food 6 nights a week. Y'all are closed on Mondays,
Closed on
but
Mondays.
every other day of the week, cooking till 2 o'clock in the morning.
You really can come in at 159 and order a bucket of chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our motto. And no one's
Wow.
going to be mad.
Wow.
Because we expect it. We
Yeah.
expect it.
Well, I respect the shit out of that from an owner-to-owner standpoint.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting your staff on board with that.
It wasn't easy.
And-
It wasn't
and
easy.
No,
but we
definitely
we
not.
opened up with that thought process.
Yeah.
There was a petition that Kaya Beggs put out for us to be open at 4, because I think she just gets off work early and it's home, so it works out for her.
Yeah.
But we originally opened at 4 o'clock, and from 4 to 6 we weren't doing any business,
Yeah.
and we had our kitchen close around midnight, and we just realized that wasn't working. That's not what the neighborhood was saying to us,
Yeah.
and so we had to make an adjustment, and that was let's open at 6 and keep the kitchen open till 2. So from 12 to 2. We can capitalize way more than from 4 to 6.
For sure.
And maybe one day we'll get there and we'll open for lunch and maybe do brunches.
Whoa,
But,
slow down.
Hey, there'll be other
Lunch,
people to work
not
besides you.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Service industry customer.
At the bell hoppings, you don't have to work every hour that it's open.
and Ian as an operator, so Ian, I have to listen to what Ian says as an operator because,
I've never been here. Actually, I came here one time and you didn't serve me. There was one time I've ever been in here, and it wasn't like you
fair, he
were
was
standing
hammered,
directly
so.
in front of me.
we didn't serve you, Sam.
No, he didn't specifically.
Oh, okay.
No, other bartenders were working
Yeah.
here. I was just talking like he's always here every single time I come in the door. You
Yeah.
know, he's behind the bar. So
company policy.
I've been here once. I've been here one time, and then
Being that we're such a small staff, I don't have a lot of staff.
Yeah.
We're a small family, and that's why we close on Mondays, just to give these guys a break.
sure.
Yeah, it's not religious like Chick-fil-A. We're just closed for...
Yeah. And it's funny because that was for me, Sundays I'd always want Chick-fil-A, and I'd be like, damn it, they're closed. I'd pull all the way up to the drive-through and be like, hello? And I'm like,
Gotta
it's
be in
Sunday.
someone's in there.
People are like that. People are like that. They have a hankering for fried chicken on Mondays. And
Yeah.
we're like, oh,
Shout out to David Phillips.
David Phillips. Yep.
Well, one of the things that I started at Bowls and Tacos down the road. We started doing the 3 a.m. food on Friday, Saturday. So we only stay open, kitchen open all the way until the end, super late. So Friday and Saturday we're open until 3 a.m. and mind blown that 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. is generally our second best hour of the
Yep.
day. On Saturday, I'm open from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m.
doesn't
and 2
blow
to
my mind.
3 is
Doesn't surprise me at all.
usually the second best hour of the
Yeah.
whole day. I've got one good 1 o'clock hour, and then it gets steady, and then it pops back up. I love those double wide guys across the street. They do last call, and they're like, "You gotta get the fuck out of here! Go to Bowls and Tacos. They're
awesome.
selling food," and they just herd people out the door, and we're right
That's
across the
awesome.
street, so
That's
it
awesome.
works out. It works out great.
It's
So.
easier to hurt cats. Drunk people just funnel them in
Yeah.
the wrong direction.
Well, when we first started staying open until 3, I started
Look at the light.
going to double wide every Friday and Saturday night at last call, and I was shameless, man. You're working a business, and I'm not stepping on Kim and Derek and those guys' toes. They know that they don't sell food, so they don't mind me hustling their crowd for
Right.
getting them to go eat some food after
Right.
they close out their tabs. So, first couple weeks we were open, I was walking up on Conversations, people talking like, "You guys talking about that taco joint across the street that's open till 3?" And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I heard that's the case. I happen to own it, so bye." I would, make a joke out of it and exit
Yeah.
their conversation, and whether or not it actually, yeah, I needed to go to the Magic Supply shop and just, and then I vanish. I bet I could pull that off with some turkey.
Poke bowls.
I like
Love
it.
Those are delicious.
You also
Thank
make
you.
habanero hot sauces, but gets me every time. Barbecued on flour.
I always fake myself into thinking it's not gonna be as hot this time, and then at that first bite, I'm like, "Fuck, what am I doing?"
Just get through it. Just get through it. It's delicious. Just get through it.
Our best regular, or we have a lot of really great regulars, so I don't want to say best. We've got Les's and Steve's and a bunch of really great dudes, but Steve Jones likes the hot so much that when he comes in, he asks for the squirt bottle that we fill the little salsas with of mango habanero,
Oh my God.
because he drizzles like this
That's
on one taco.
ridiculous.
Many
Oh,
times
yeah,
it
he'll-
messed up my stomach. It's worth it.
He'll take a squirt bottle
Yeah.
and it'll go down this much on his 8 tacos.
He gets
that
some
he's
Rick and
sitting
Morty
on.
with jalapenos all over it. It's amazing.
Wait, you don't have a taco called Rick and Morty?
No, a double
BrainDead,
cheeseburger. We have a double cheeseburger called the Thick and Morty. It's a Whataburger A1 Thick and Hearty recreation.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So we got fast food fries and then the yellow paper to wrap it
Yep,
in.
yep.
We actually got the flour that fast food companies, like the pulverized salt that's
Yep.
like it's like powder.
Yeah, that makes your lips hurt.
Yeah, and because it gets all in the cracks of stuff
Sounds like
and it
a
doesn't
drug.
dissolve.
Yeah.
It really is.
Like a drug when they put it on. It's like,
It really, it really is. And then here's the crack that we sprinkle
Yeah.
on. So
Put a little bit of garlic. It's pulverized salt, aka crack.
yeah, pretty much.
That's why these people keep coming back for
It's
this
crack
burger.
bag.
Yeah, crack bay. I like that. Crack bay. I haven't seen a crack bay meme on the internet. I'll have to figure out.
I think we have a meme.
We'll make a T-shirt out of that. Yeah, let's do a crack bay
Make a meme
collaborative
out of
pop-up.
The faces that you make.
That makes my mouth hurt thinking of all that maggot habanero.
I'm gonna go back to rededication. Same as Sam.
Yeah.
Oh.
Are you gonna do it again?
Hell yeah.
I'm proud of you.
So we're gonna bring some chicken out in a couple minutes.
I love it. That's why we saved the Pilsner for the closer.
We're just doing some dark meat, so legs, thighs, and wings.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then everything else like the chicken breast will be white meat, obviously, but we don't do that in a brine, so we're not. Well, our sous chef Jordan's suggesting we put chicken breast option as a 3Ps or a 6Ps,
Yeah.
which we've never done because the white meat tends
Dries
to
out.
dry out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be making some changes with
sorry.
getting
No, you're
food
good.
out a little bit quicker. The neighborhood's kind of been like, we're listening, and the neighborhood's just like, I'd love to come in before work, get some chicken to go, and then head into my shift, and they're just like, it takes a little too long. We make to order here, so
Yeah.
so we're doing everything we can right now to like get our ticket times down, so it'd be like ideally 5-10 minutes.
Well, that's
and
also
I think that's
a great thing that I like when food takes 10 minutes for it to be made, because it's actually getting made.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you go to fried chicken places and you make the order and there's just a rack of fried chicken.
Yeah,
potatoes,
right.
Just dump it
And it's
on
like,
there.
oh, hey,
Right.
here's you go. Okay, here's your food that you just asked me for.
Yeah.
It's like,
Right,
Can
exactly.
you cook it for me?
Exactly. Like, how long did that sit under
Yeah,
the lights?
right. I'd
Very-
rather
very
wait
much
here
so.
and like hear it going, like
I can-
know
I
it's
can
gonna
hear
be
it.
good. Yeah.
Oh, I got it right there. Yeah,
I hear that fire.
I hear the bubbles.
yeah. But also, y'all got like a
We changed this one.
So
yeah,
we
one
already killed
growler's
one?
growler's done.
that one's still
Yeah.
the IPA. You want to switch? I can. I mean,
Boom.
like IPA.
Like lightning.
No, I just gotta catch up. So
but wait, I
So
can't
you
be
guys
drunk 'cause
also have like a low taste,
time in
and you've
history.
got this. I don't want to say Tex-Mex, but I guess you kind of have to. Mexican.
you know what's funny? I say Mex-Tex.
Mex-Tex.
So we looked at when I opened, I was looking at fried chicken in this market, in the Dallas market, and I saw everyone's kind of doing it the same. And I thought, how can we be unique? And I worked with my chef at a restaurant before this, and he's from Mexico City. So, and he's really passionate about his food, and like the other restaurant that we worked at, like he would always like for like a meal, a manager meal, he'd make me some authentic Mexican dish.
Yeah.
So I was like, the light bulb went off. And I was like, let's do fried chicken with the Mexican
Let's take what I'm
flair
passionate
to it.
about. Let's take what you're passionate about.
Yes,
Let's
that's
passion them
exactly
together.
how that went down. And so, you'll see
I
like
think people like this.
you'll see like in our brine, there's 4 different Mexican peppers in there.
Yeah.
Everything's got some kick here. Nothing's bland. There's a lot of heat to our food, and that's just part of the chef's experience with the Mexican cuisine, and yeah. So you'll notice like the loteria cards.
Yeah.
You'll notice like chicken our way. I don't know if everyone knows what way means.
Yeah.
But
I think most people know what way means. They just don't realize it's spelled
How
that
that
way.
works.
Yeah, so they'll be like chicken or gooey,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh no, this
Yeah, can get gooey,
football,
can
bro.
get gooey chicken.
So just little things like that. So we definitely, I would say we're Mexican fried chicken.
Yeah.
And it's been working out. And
I don't
That's
think it's
awesome.
too
It's
spicy.
unique.
I think
That's
it's
one of the
great.
things I like
Yeah.
about it. Is
It's
it's
like
like
right
you
at
eat
that
it and
good
it
spice.
makes you think of you. It's like you were saying. There's some spice going on, and kind of what you guys are both saying. It's almost like a mole without the chocolate. There's depth of flavor that you can't quite put your
Yeah.
finger on, and you're like, oh, take a bite. And you're like,
It's the
what?
best way I've ever heard this.
What is that?
Yeah, right.
Like, that's great, but I don't really know exactly
Yeah.
what that was. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's fried chicken.
And,
But
then, and the other thing I noticed too was like all the places I went to, and like I pay homage. There's really good fried chicken spots out there, but I noticed that a lot of the flavor was on the batter, and you got past the batter, and some of it fell short, right? So
Yeah.
like now you're getting into the meat, and it was a little bland, and so we were like, let's make sure we don't do that. Let's
Yeah.
make sure it's flavorful throughout, and so that's all about the brine.
Yeah.
we do a lot of different food over at BrainDead. We kind of rotate through all kinds of different things, and in the 3 years that we've been open, it's a little early for that.
Did someone just get hurt? What?
In the 3 years that we've been open, I really think that the one time we put fried chicken on the menu for like 4 months as one dish was like the most times we ate the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, trying to figure out how to do it right.
Yeah.
Fried chicken is like hard. There's rice flour and there's all purpose, and
And
you can do
time.
all these different
Yeah.
things.
So chicken, you pull chicken out of the fryer, it's got to sit and kind of bleed out some of the oil,
Yeah.
right? And
Rest.
then, yeah, it's got to rest.
Yeah.
But if it rests too long, so there's a small window.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
small window with fried chicken, and then when you're feeding to the masses, and it can get difficult. It gets a little tricky. So it definitely was like trial and error. In 3 years, we still are working on it. Yeah.
What are some of your favorite fried chicken places in the?
Wow,
Yeah.
good question. I'm not ashamed to say it, but Popeyes is fucking delicious.
Dude,
man. I love
Golden
Popeyes.
Chick.
Number
two
two spicy.
spicy.
Popeyes.
You didn't think Popeyes?
Well, that rice is killing me.
Popeyes, I'm a huge fan of Popeyes.
No,
man.
I'm sorry, I'm going with Cane's.
Cane's.
Oh, okay.
Texas toast and that
I don't like
sauce.
their
And then-
that batter though. Like falls off.
Yeah, it's
I'm
crumbly as
a
fuck,
Bubba's
exactly.
guy. Bubba's is the
Bubba's and Babes.
is the
Like
weird
Babes?
iteration. Babes,
They're the
Bubba's,
same-
there's
I
one
think the same.
Bubba's
Yeah, I
and then
think
there's
they're
a
the
couple
same.
Babes.
Right.
They're the same family.
Yeah.
You go to Bubba's, they have Babes logoed cups, but Bubba's is just what that location on Hillcrest is called. And yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. There's like a beer biscuit beer roll thing that they do, and it's really not even the fried chicken that I love so much about that place. It's the roll.
Yeah.
And I get two, and one is my savory roll that I dip in my white gravy while I'm eating, and then the other one is a sweet roll.
sandwich?
So what I do is I tear the top off the roll and the bottom, and I poke my finger in both of them, make a nice little reservoir.
Reservoir.
Before I eat my food, I fill both reservoirs with honey.
Write this down.
I fill both reservoirs with honey, and then the key is you let it sit. So I fill it with
Yeah, so
honey
it seeps
before my meal,
So it
and then I
soaks.
set my bread, and it seeps in. And like really nice cheese, how it has that little tiny crunch in there.
Yeah.
It's called tyrosine, is the chemical that's in cheese that gives that little
That
like
doesn't sound good.
crunch.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like, but it's like the best white cheddars. You'll bite into it, and there's
Yeah.
a little like it's not crunchy, but there's a little thing
Oh,
in
yeah,
between
yeah,
your
yeah.
teeth
Texture.
while you're
Yeah.
eating it, and it's like a crystal. Just
Yeah.
a little
Oh
like
yeah, those are great.
yeah.
Like those farmhouse.
Yeah, it's called
cheeses.
tyrosine,
Yeah.
and that's what my favorite thing about that Bubba's is when you pour the honey on there and you let it sit for 30 minutes while you're eating. The honey soaks in and then it like dries out and it starts to form these little like crystals. So it has this
Like a
little,
McGriddle?
Sounds like a McGriddle.
Right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm
It's
thinking
what
of.
McGriddles are trying to replicate. Yeah, but this is the
this is like the
actual. This is
original-
like the farmhouse McGriddle.
The non-mass-produced McGriddle.
Yeah, so I do my honey, and then at the end, I bite into that just like saturated
Yeah.
beer biscuit, beer roll thing.
I'm excited
And
to go
you
back.
missed an important part of
I
that
did. What
conversation.
happened?
Just talking
Just a
about
quick
some
version.
weird
Farmhouse
dessert
McGriddle.
things.
He knows
It's
this actually.
okay.
When I first started working here, one of the first things, what's your favorite chicken spot? I said Bates in
Yeah.
Arlington.
There you go.
That's where I'm from.
They might
Well,
have
I'm
the
from
same
Louisiana,
rolls. Do they have the same rolls?
I have
that
no
I'm talking
idea,
about?
but I'm a sucker for infinite sides.
Yeah.
And my family's quite large, so my siblings are larger than I am, and so
Yeah.
is my dad. So like, we go for every birthday for all of us. Like my dad's birthday, my brother's birthday,
Yeah.
youngest brother's birthday. So when we walk in, it's literally just like fire up everything in the back because it's about to be a 2-hour
Chipmunks
experience.
download.
So there's a family member having their first professional fight this week.
Actually, on Saturday.
You want to plug that, buddy?
Yeah, I mean, might as well give a shout out. So,
Silver gloves.
no, amateur MMA actually. So my brother's fighting at Gas Monkey Live this Saturday, 5:30. Be there, be square. Okay.
There's like
What's your brother's
there's like
name?
30 of
Reese
us
Brooks.
going.
Maurice Brooks.
RHYS.
Yeah.
It's spelled really weird.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna have a huge crowd cheering him on this Saturday.
I hope to God he does not lose because it's just gonna be an ass whooping from everybody else afterwards.
I've had a couple friends that did MMA for a little while that I wrestled with growing up. I did like collegiate wrestling as a youth,
As a
and
that beard
so
does not screw me.
when I moved on into
just
my younger 20s, MMA was still all Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There
Right.
was no
Rules or
collegiate. There was no
regulations.
collegiate wrestling influence into it. So Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys love sparring with traditional wrestlers because our instincts are just like the opposite. And when you take me down, I try to get on all fours. Present. And I try to get on all fours. And normal Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guys get down in their back and in their guard so that they can fight back. And my whole thing is I get like a spider on the ground. It's like, you're not rolling me
I'm
over,
not getting
bitch.
pinned. I'm not getting pinned.
Yeah, I like doggy. That's it. That's the only style I do.
Notes, right?
But I used to wrestle spar with MMA guys all the time, and they liked it because I'm big and dumb and can get punched in the face and still smile at you afterwards. But my instincts are just like strangely just not the way
The same.
they
Right.
should be.
The complete opposite.
And so I've had a weird little weaving of MMA stuff into my background.
It's like instead of rolling over to submission, it's like It's like a power bottom. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
bottom.
I'm
You
a-
will only get me from this position.
Yes, yeah. That was, I think, was it, there was Three Floyds that made a beer variant called Dwarven Power Bottom. What? Yeah, it was.
Dwarven.
Yeah.
Do you guys have fun like making up your
Yeah,
beer
dude.
names?
Yeah.
Do you have fun
Oh,
with it?
dude, it's like the best.
We do that with our
We've got one
cocktails.
called
Yeah,
My Wife
no,
Hasn't Touched My
they're
Dick
great,
in
man.
7 years that's coming
What was
up.
it?
That's coming through the pipeline.
I'm sorry.
That's
Say
called
it
what?
One more time.
Repeat that.
We have one that's called My Wife Hasn't Touched My Dick in 7 years that's coming through the
What
pipeline.
style of beer would that
Please tell me
be?
this is
It's
the
gonna be a,
highest
it's gonna
ABV
be a,
you've
it's
ever
gonna be a
had.
pastry stout.
That was a New England IPA.
No, it's a pastry stout.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
The ABV better be 23 goddamn percent. Because you're gonna be drinking like a mother.
Sometimes there's a bunch of different ways you can make the joke with beer styles. Sometimes the joke is, oh, it's a funny, like, oh, you made a goes, and it's called, or else it gets the goes again, you know, and it's like a pun, and then there's
Yeah.
that humor.
Yeah.
And then, like, we've kind of done a lot of the punny things, and a lot of the punny things have been done before us that we would have
Yeah.
liked to have done.
Now you're like,
And so we're trying to be
I was gonna
creative.
say,
So
yeah.
now we're like, let's name beers stuff that'll be funny to watch our customers say, like, on
Yeah.
Friday night when they're
Have
trying
your
to,
own
like,
fun with it,
having
like
a
you're-
date,
yeah.
you know, and it's like, can I get a wife over here? And they're like, a what? And it's like, my wife. Can I get a my wife, please? I'm sorry.
it's
which
for
one?
your own
I
amusement.
Are you asking about my wife?
Is it like
Sir!
I just can't
You've heard
tell.
of Brash and Houston?
Can't tell which one.
They
I
have,
have not, no.
they have a beer called Pussy Wagon that people
After
don't
Kill
even
Bill?
That's Kill Bill, yeah.
people don't even know what the beer is, and they go 3 pussy wagons. It's just like
Yeah.
stupid. You
It's
know?
an immediate hook.
So
I'll
like
take that.
obviously
We
you
got
know,
some
names
food
do
coming,
that.
man.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Thank you, sir.
This is Chef Ray Morales here.
Get in there, bro.
Thanks, Ray. Welcome,
Thanks,
man.
Chef.
You wanna
Thanks, buddy.
what do you got here?
Yes, just a steak piece for bringing the chicken.
Yeah. Right on, man. We're
So
excited.
this is pretty much our staple.
We can't wait
Just
to
a-
check it out.
the regular.
Hey,
on
Jeff,
in.
you go up and hold that in front of the camera a little bit before we dig in there. Let them see the beauty.
Let 'em see the shit.
Yeah.
So we did that with our cocktails. We were like, you know, it was like the
Close up on the chicken.
Oh, you gotta get a little focus shift there. Get some nice
Work it,
bokeh
shake
back
it.
here.
Oh, and the camera.
say it.
You
Good
hate the
say it.
camera, you love the camera.
Oh yeah, it's so good. Let's eat it.
So yeah, we garnish it with cilantro and limes again, kind of like Mexican
Cilantro
style.
and radishes.
It's served in. This is a tortilla warmer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
and
I
again,
guess I
just
did
those
notice
little
that.
I
things
never
like that.
noticed these little things until you pointed them out.
Yeah.
Now it all makes sense.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Actually, one of the biggest like mind blows for me while I started working here is like, so we always serve like a lot of our appetizers, like our deviled eggs, everything,
Yeah.
on these trays. And then finally I realized that it's a fucking tortilla holder, like top, upside down. And I was like, this is genius, because like I for like 6
Nothing
months,
goes to waste.
for like 6 months, I had no clue what it was. I was like, that's really actually interesting. It's got like, it's a circle and there's like a level in the center, perfect for like a sauce or anything like
Yeah.
that. And it was like, I wonder like what kind of thing, like, what was this made for? And then sure enough, one day I had to go actually wash dishes because
Yeah.
I'm a dishwasher. And I'm washing one, I'm like, this is a fucking tortilla lid. And I was like, well,
Yeah. So the top of this we use and we put our deviled eggs around it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
and it works perfect.
Yeah.
Like again, there's like a raised centerpiece, so it's like it perfectly
Yeah.
fits any type of sauce. Like when we did our mushrooms, God, there was something else as well.
Our menu changes a lot, but like the staples stay.
Yeah.
So
So my fiance Melissa says, "Who's the sexy one with the beard and Japanese maple leaf on his shirt?" I think that's you, Jeff.
you.
You've got a beard and a Japanese maple leaf.
I know.
is that what they call the Japanese maple?
Yeah, it's a Japanese maple leaf. It is a Japanese maple leaf. At BrainDead, we're arborists. We're really big into trees and foliage. And the Japanese maple leaf is something that is a recurring
Ian,
theme
did you
with
know
our
that?
trends.
I didn't know that was part of.
Well, hops are related.
they're
Mel's
branded.
dropping the love
Yeah,
bombs
they're like
on us
cousins.
right now.
Yeah.
Hops and weed.
That's
If you have any questions
very
for us, feel free to chime in. We're live on Central Track right now. You can chime in and ask some questions. Scott Beggs wants to know
Get
where
in
the
there.
Brussels sprouts are at. we dropped some fried.
They're seasonal,
we
damn
dropped
it.
some
They're
fried
seasonal.
chicken. Yeah. Have you seen what Brussels sprouts look like at the end of May? God damn it.
they're too big,
They're expensive as fuck.
and they get so big.
It's like chicken wings during the Super Bowl.
You want to pay more for Brussels sprouts than chicken? I bet you don't. By the goddamn season.
So yeah, let's dig in there, man.
I like that.
I like the whole wing.
I'm gonna go balls on walls and go thigh. Make it happen.
I'm going drum.
Typical white
I'm gonna
guy.
dig into this one. Here's that breast you guys
Good as fuck.
talking about.
Also, I kind of want to know, like, what's the vote on us bottling
hot
our
too,
hot
guys.
sauce? Because a lot of you guys in the neighborhood steal these hot sauce bottles. And I'm appreciative
Oh,
of
you
it.
neighborhood fools. Just sitting in the office.
These things go. They just take them off the table,
Yeah.
man.
They just disappear. Believe me, I go to A-Smart about once every 2 weeks to get new bottles. You want some goddamn hot sauce, just tell me.
Yeah, just say so.
If you have a bottle at your house, please bring it back. We won't say anything.
No, you don't have to bring it back. Keep it, please.
We'll refill it.
But
for
you're going to
$2.
be part of paying for the bottling campaign
Yeah.
we're going to go for.
Well, this was a good idea. Let's just get
Yeah,
some
dude.
food out here, and then we'll just be quiet and eat.
Oh shit! Yeah.
You know, us eating
Hey,
amazing
silence.
last
Moment of
episode,
silence. Moment of silence for chicken, please. guys.
Jeff and I have always talked about wanting to do an episode that is our very first Growlersations episode. For anybody that's been to growlersations.com and dug this one out, or our YouTube channel. Our very first episode was literally us taking my iPhone, leaning it up against an empty growler. We sat at a table in the middle of our restaurant, and we just went Facebook Live. And we wanted to see how long it took Jeff and I to drink a growler of beer and maintain casual conversation.
Coherentness.
We landed at about 15 minutes. Jeff and I, we housed a growler of beer in about 15 minutes. Some people swung by and said, "What's up?" You know what it's like when you're in your restaurant. People saying, "What's up?" And they were like our first guests. Like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" It's like, "We're drinking beer. We're live on Facebook." And got some people like waving and saying, "What's up?" And that was how Growersations was
And how
born,
many have you
know?
done now?
This is 21.
We're 21 of you.
Yeah, we're old enough to drink now.
Not like a syrup meat, Tiffany turnip that keeps shit on this neighborhood.
That's a cool name.
So, that's been a really kind of fun part about this is watching it grow. And 3 episodes in, Anton and Central Track came and they wanted to get involved, and it's really just kind of become whatever it is, And like we were having the conversation planning this, we were like, so I really just show up and we are gonna drink some beer and maybe eat some fried chicken and that's it, and we're gonna put it on the internet. It's like, yeah.
That's what's good. When he asked me about it, he was like, "Are you comfortable with being on social media?" And I was like, "Yes." Why?
Are you comfortable
Why?
on these social medias?
Why are you asking this question? Because we're gonna eat chicken and drink beers before you go to work.
Yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a great idea to me.
What's the name
so-
of the Pilsner?
That's actually funny that you say that. That's exactly where I was going. This is Exhausted Nihilist.
It's going well.
Which is that
that
shirt.
Lebowski?
That is
Yeah.
that
There's
is the
so much I did not know.
that is last year. I'm a Lebowski. You're a Lebowski.
Just
That
give
was
me the money, Lebowski.
that was last year's 420 shirt, and then since then,
Word.
Exhausted Nihilist came out, and it is a Polish Pilsner. It doesn't use any Polish brewing methods, but we use Polish hops in it. So we kind of started calling it a Polish Pilsner as a way to point out that the hops came from Poland. And being big Lebowski fans that we are down at BrainDead, things kind of all came together, and
Is that white robe still here?
and Exhausted Nihilist became the first. That was the first of our pilsners too,
Yeah,
wasn't
it was.
Yeah, going back to the names, I would have so much fun with that. But being as a brewery, you probably have, if you might have an original idea, it might have been done because, there's so many breweries out there, and it's all kind of have fun with the names.
Yeah,
Their
there's
name.
25,000 beer names out there these
Yeah.
days.
Drew's adamant,
yeah.
he'll check it,
He researches to make sure we're not copying anybody ever.
Right.
And
yeah.
all of ours are actually unique. The best of our research no one's ever done before. I mean, we have some that are kind of a little bit less researched. But lately, because Drew, our brewer Andrew Herder at BrainDead, his goal is to brew 100 unique recipes this year. 2018, he said, "I'm brewing 100 unique beers this year." And that's his goal, is to produce 100 different beers. So at BrainDead, we have 27 beers.
What?
It's a wardrobe change. It's fine.
I love it.
It's like a Beyonce
You guys
show.
have chicken ribs?
Oh, I had lip slip.
Yeah.
This is normal here at Brick. No one is shocked.
No.
So Drew's trying to brew 100 unique recipes with 100 unique names this year. This one,
That's a lot.
That's a ton.
it is. Yeah.
It's like once every 3.7
Well,
days.
52 weeks. Yeah, 52 weeks a year. His goal is to brew the average of 2 unique recipes every single week. So
That's
when you really
insane.
break it down like that,
How long
it's
will
crazy.
a batch last you?
So depends on the size of the batch. We did an expansion last summer. So now we brew 30 barrel batches of beer, and a standard like big ass keg that you would pick up is a half barrel. So we'll do a half barrel is 15 gallons, a whole barrel is 31 gallons. So when we have a 30 barrel batch of beer, we're getting damn near 1,000 gallons in a batch. So we're really closer to 900.
And
but
you
our
would say
brew
that's
house-
a popular style, or that recipe worked.
Yeah.
How quickly is that turned?
So our brew house brews 15 barrels at a time. So when we want to
wow.
do a 30 barrel batch, they come in one day and then they brew and they fill a tank halfway up, and then they come in the next day and they brew the same recipe, and then they top it up. So that is from the bigger tanks that we added. The crazy thing that people outside the industry don't really understand about beer is it takes like 8 hours to do what we call the hot side of brewing, which is when you think of brewing, you think about the hot side. You think about a guy sitting over a pot and stirring and dumping hops
Hops
in
in.
and grains going in and steam's coming out because stuff's on boiling and things like that. That happens in one day. That's just one shift of guys coming in to brew beer. But then it takes 2 weeks for that beer to finish.
Right.
So just as you were talking about, your fried chicken really needs to rest for just that perfect amount of
You
time.
have a window
It's the
of
same thing.
opportunity.
Ours is 2 weeks though. So most of our beers sit for about 2 weeks. Lagers, like we're drinking, the first beer that we did was about 2 weeks from grain to glass, as we'll say. It was started a grain and now we're drinking it. That last one goes for about 2 weeks. Nihilist and our other lagers and pilsners, and lagers are
I was gonna ask,
the
do you
main
prefer
category.
to do lagers or ales?
Lagers take like 3 times
Yeah,
as
they
long.
take way longer.
So it's like, yeah, it's kind of complicated. We only were able to get into lagers when we added the big tanks. So the lager
Started
takes
with
me
just ales.
3 weeks to 4 weeks
Got it. Yeah.
just to go from grain to glass on this beer. And the reason, it's simpler, it's cleaner, and it's lighter, and it tastes like it would be easier to make.
Right.
But really, and I don't want to shortchange Drew, but he'll understand what I'm saying here.
It tastes less
It's
complex.
the yeast that's doing the extra work
Right.
in the lager.
Right.
So
To give it that simplicity.
it takes him 8 hours to brew a lager. It takes him 8 hours to brew an ale.
weird
But it
flavors
takes the yeast 6 days to make an ale, and it takes the yeast
3 weeks.
25 days to make a lager.
Yeah.
And the reason, if I can oversimplify yet again, lager yeast cleans up after itself. So like, you're not the chef, but you can cook, I presume, right?
Yes.
You can cook at home. If I say, hey, cook me a meal, Top Chef style, here's your ingredients, 60 minutes I want to see food on my plate. Your kitchen's going to be a wreck, right?
Yeah.
You're cooking, you're throwing stuff, blah, blah, blah. That's how ale yeast is. Ale yeast, when it's going real fast and you give it that 9-day deadline, I'm making alcohol, sugar, alcohol, CO2, and it's doing all of
Yeah,
these things,
yeah.
but it's working messy. And so you get phenolics, you get esters, and you get all of these peripheral flavors. And that's why ales tend to be fuller flavor, is because they have these sloppy byproducts that are kind of cast aside. Lagers are like, hey, chef, you have all day in the kitchen, and I want 1 plate of dinner made tonight. I guarantee you, when he's done, that 1 plate, the kitchen's pretty much clean when that plate comes out, because he's had time to like.
It's a great way to
go
say it.
through.
Now I get it.
You were good with analogies. By the way, you
Now I
were
get it.
insanely good with
I was
analogies.
like lagers, I think, are cold temperature ales.
Yeah, he went from a scientific standpoint.
He's in a hot
fermenting,
kitchen,
bottom
hot
fermenting.
kitchen, he's sloppy,
made
I mean,
it
he's got the
make sense to
AC
me.
on back there,
Now it
and
makes
he's
sense to me.
chilling, he's
That needs to be
wiping
like,
up,
can we just
all
go
things
ahead
are on
and
the
say that
way.
one piece?
I've also never seen you be yeast.
You know those dumb TV
C6H1206.
videos you have to watch every 2 years that explain the difference between everything? Can we just condense that into what Sam just said in those like
Yeah.
4 sentences.
It's really hard to take.
everyone
them
would
seriously.
Zach Griffith says, "What's up from Spain? Hello,
Zach-
Spain."
Oh, Zach. What's up,
Can we
Ginger?
respond? Where is he in
Yeah,
Spain?
we respond. He's watching. He's in the comments.
Zach, I traveled in Spain. I would love to know where
By the
he's
way, I
at.
haven't seen you in a
and the
while.
happiness
Where's your
comes
love
from within
nectar?
sounds bomb right now. He wants to be here Growlersating with us.
Zach,
so yeah.
Zach has a plaque on our bar. Like our regulars have plaques
Oh, yeah?
on
That's
the bar
sweet.
there.
Like their
And-
spot.
Yeah, it's not like their seat, but it's just like
Yeah.
we're paying,
That's
homage,
cool.
I
man.
would-
It's respect.
Kai Anthony wants to know if Ian practices under Cobra Kai.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Have you, have you seen the new show?
No, I haven't. I'm actually
haven't-
busy
I haven't
really
seen it.
excited.
This is
about
an
it.
NPR
There's a
interview
group
the
of
other
us
day.
here. It's probably like 5 of our friends. And we started doing the Cobra Kai thing, and like this
Yeah.
is the sign for it, right? Because one, we love Karate Kid, but how this started, why this became like our thing,
Yeah.
Like this
was
guy.
there was a night I was here late at night, been drinking, and I fell asleep on the bar, like, right? And so like I think Ian or somebody was like Cobra Kai, like,
Yeah.
or maybe Dad.
I think it was Daz or Faj.
Yeah.
I took a
and
picture
so
of you, Cobra Kai.
It's become a thing.
I don't think anyone
We all
got
have
a
Cobra
picture.
Kai
I hope
shirts.
there's not a picture
Don't
out
fuck-
there.
There's not.
picture of him,
There's
yeah.
not. Because if there was,
But Locke
I had
Holman,
it painted.
Daz and Fodge, and me, Ian, and part of the Cobra Kai, Brian Fox,
That's
Cobra
sweet.
Kai.
You know they're the bad guys, right?
yeah,
Not in the
duh.
new show.
Oh, really?
Not in the new
So-
show. Yeah, they switched it.
So is it a series, by the way?
Yes.
The new
new-
show, the Cobra Kai guy, he's the trainer, and he's like, yeah, that guy came in and stole my girlfriend and cheated and won the
Is
competition.
Johnny the
Johnny's in it,
guy?
yeah.
Yeah, Johnny's like.
Well,
the-
Johnny's
the-
honestly evil. If you go back and watch Karate Kid, he's like a complete asshole.
So, but
Yeah, for sure.
But the
time.
writers of
Yeah.
the show say that they're both the protagonist, but when they do the Cobra Kai side, they treat them like the good guys. And then when they do the Johnny side, and they're showing it from that perspective, they intend to also maintain that he's a good guy. But they do
Interesting.
But they really the show's called Cobra Kai, and it's about
Yeah.
the Cobra Kai guys actually being
documentary,
being all right
really.
dudes. Yes, it's a documentary.
There was something.
They're not bad people.
Bobby Kramer wants to know what the heat level's like on your chicken. I'd say like 6, but I don't know. I like a lot of heat. So
We try not to be too aggressive with
Yeah.
it.
10, fucking 10.
It's got
Fucking 10.
it's got to appeal to everybody.
Yeah.
I like that move that you just did right there. I love that.
Yeah.
If you guys didn't see that, Sam just took the skin, hot sauce, and then
Yeah.
right
I'm
down
gonna
the
say it's
color.
a 3. You had hot sauce too. It's a 7.
Yeah.
Now my scale's a little
Yeah.
bit different than most people's. Coming from Trey Beck, our bar manager, our chicken's about a 4.
So,
And the guy
what's
can't
the
eat a
first thing
jalapeno,
that I
otherwise he
said?
has to go to the bathroom and also get a glass of milk.
Just put Trey back on blast. Don't you?
Can't stand spice whatsoever.
I think I was doing it wrong getting that sandwich all the time because like that shit is awesome and like the sides. if you mix the crunchies with the sides.
Yeah.
I've been
I heard
messing
you
up.
say you liked the
Dude,
bathroom
they're-
more.
He saw me grab it like the
Well,
So-
I wanted the
so a
skinny on the
trick-
chicken, but parts of it that fall off, I'm okay with.
The
You know
trick
what I
that
mean?
we do, Jeff,
Yeah.
is we take these chicken morsels, right? Because there's always like leftover
Yeah,
chicken
yeah.
morsels on, when
I
the
eat it on
fried
top of
chicken's
my
dressing.
mac and cheese.
We put that in our deviled eggs to give it texture.
Nice.
So
Like
like
cheese and
people be like,
crackers.
"What's that crunch?"
No,
in the
I
deviled
get it.
egg.
That's great.
And it's literally we
Chicken
take the
bits.
fried chicken morsels,
Yeah.
and it gives it like that
Morsel's
crunch.
such
And
a
people are
weird
like,
word.
"Genius."
My brick and bones
You don't like
move
it?
is I get the
I'm not a big
bucket
fan of it.
and
It's
then I get
kinda
an
like
order
moist.
of
Not a good
mac
fan
and
of it.
cheese.
Yeah.
I pull the mac and cheese in front of me and I eat the bucket over my mac and cheese.
And let the
I eat
morsels
the
just
bucket,
fall
yeah,
into the.
yeah, and it falls in.
Okay,
And then
so
I eat
I
the,
went from
I
being
eat
I just
the
learned
chicken,
something.
and then I
intelligent to you're a genius. Not only in food, but in analogies.
that's
Like,
my
you-
that's my brick and bones move right now.
Freeman has a hot chick.
Yeah,
I shouldn't mention it with
No,
the chicken
absolutely,
place, but
man.
like that gravy and everything, and you.
I thought you meant like a
the-
hot chick, like a hot bartender.
Yeah,
That's what I thought you said.
the little crispies will fall off, and you mix it with the rice. It's even better than the chicken. You know what I mean?
Genius.
Dude, it's fucking
No,
great.
that's
So
what I'm saying.
That's why I'm saying I'm doing it wrong here.
We gotta get Chef in this
Yeah.
conversation.
Dasmond Pillard
Yeah.
Ah.
Cobra
wants
Kai.
wants to point out that Dasmond actually takes the empty bottles that are stolen, returns them, and takes full ones, but brings the empty ones back.
You know who also does that?
Yeah, before
Mikey from the green room.
before a full one is left again with, at least the empty
Yeah.
one makes
I
it back
cleaned
up.
it, I brought it back.
Yeah, I did.
Hey, that is a proper guest. That is a proper guest. You brought it back in clean condition.
Yeah.
The only thing it was missing was the
So
hot
no
sauce.
one's commenting on
Yes,
the fact
Dwayne
that Ian's
Leverett, that
wearing
is
robe
a Lakewood.
right
No,
now?
no, that was the first thing. That was one of the first
okay.
comments that I read. Was, that's how the
Why are you
Cobra
wearing
Kai
the robe?
conversation.
Oh,
We were
okay.
talking about Big Lebowski. I thought the robe was appropriate.
Cheers, guys.
Yes, Dwayne Leverett. This is an all-call glass.
Dwayne, fuck.
Lakewood. You know.
Shout out to Dwayne
Yeah.
for these glasses. I'm sure your wife is real happy right now.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Did
are
you
all
guys slow down or
glasses.
did I catch up? This is
You
it.
caught up, man.
This
You're
is
doing
it,
good.
right?
Not catch
You're
up.
doing good.
Whatever. He had 2 beers.
Hey, man. You're going to throw one under the bus, bro.
Absolutely. It's one of the few chances
Osiris
I've
Ayala.
Yes,
You know
Osiris.
Osiris Ayala?
Absolutely. So he's an MMA fighter that we've sponsored. Yeah.
Big shout out to my friends from Brick and Bones. They're my sponsors at LFA Dallas next weekend. So,
Yep.
Next
yeah.
weekend? What?
Yeah.
Osiris Ayala. Hey, we're
Osiris,
repping.
Gas Monkey Live, Saturday. My brother, I got your ticket, dog.
Yeah, there you go. There you
And
go.
then I
Ian's
think
got your ticket,
Osiris,
and then next week
I
we're,
think
we're
Cy
your fans.
fights his fight will be the next weekend. So.
Well, you got to go to that one because I can't take 2 Saturdays off.
And tell your brother that we can sponsor your brother too. We'd love to do that.
Tag
Pete
us here
Freeman
forever.
wants to know about your haircut, Cliff.
take claim.
Did you chop off
Oh,
your hair?
yeah.
The robe.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Pete.
Didn't really notice.
Appreciate that.
Didn't really notice.
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I took
Nice.
a little bit off.
Wu-Tang
The sides and the back.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
Thanks for calling me out,
To
Pete.
fuck with.
And
Hey, Celts up. Tell Pete Freeman Celts up 2-0. Great job. We're killing
eBay?
it.
what's that?
Peter?
No, Pete Freeman, Central
Oh.
Track. He's from Boston, and Celtics are up 2-0.
Not to win.
Oh, okay.
$300 bet off that. So.
LeBron's going down.
And
What do you guys think?
I haven't
Any
done an
predictions?
Omaha pun. So
Houston
Pete
and-
Freeman, go Omaha. How about that? there's my Tuesday night poker game reference.
Since this
to
is
Pete Freeman.
look, this is on camera. You guys want to do a prediction right now on the finals?
Boston
NBA?
Rockets.
Let's hear
You're
it.
saying it's Celtics Rockets.
Is Akeem Olajuwon back? What's going on? Did I miss something?
I love it. Hakeem the Dream. Hakeem the Dream. He was great.
I haven't.
So it's been out all season. Can't match back with Golden State.
Yeah.
The matchups would be interesting. You know, like who's James? Well, James Harden doesn't guard anybody. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He doesn't play defense. I don't know if you've seen the
doesn't play
video
Yeah, he doesn't
of where
know.
Kyrie Irving tries to fist bump him. It's like, come on, man, let's get the game. He slaps his hand, and someone dubbed over it. It was great. And he's like, all you gotta do is play defense, dog. He slaps his hand. And he goes, hell is defense, man. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm just gonna do my step back 3, and we're gonna win the
He's
game.
just there.
Yeah, Pete says let's go Celtics. All right.
Hey,
man.
I bet
Yeah,
100
man.
on Celtics is gonna win the whole thing.
Yeah, go Omaha
I do too.
Celtics.
The odds are probably great. You know, for the Celtics.
Anybody got a
I
good
think
bookie? If you got a
Warriors.
good bookie, tell Sam so that I can actually bet on something instead of just like person to person.
Did you guys hear that the federal government is allowing sports betting?
Yep.
Did you guys hear this?
Yep.
So the federal government
7-2.
just allowed
Or 7-3.
every state. So the state has final say, and they can say no.
Yeah.
But any state now, the federal
weed's
government
still
is
illegal.
allowing sports betting.
No, I mean that's just like weed.
But not.
California's and
It's the
Colorado
same
said
kind of
yes.
thing, right?
But
It's
the
like
feds
a
can
weird-
come in and just go.
It's interesting.
"We're gonna take
So
all
like,
this from
like with weed, the government
Well, he's saying
says
the feds are saying it.
yes, but
right?
the state has the option to say no.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that
It's the
right?
opposite.
Correct.
way.
But the feds can
Weed
come
is
into
the
that state
opposite.
and.
Federal.
Hey, Spencer!
Baby! We're talking about weed and gambling.
Great English.
Nailed it.
You want a piece of chicken?
There's one left.
Yeah.
Here's some hot sauce if you want to take it to 11.
Yeah, thanks guys.
Take it to a whole new level, buddy.
Spencer, everyone knows.
This is our dude Spencer.
I don't think I met you, Spencer. I'm Cliff, man.
Nice to meet you.
Ian. I think we've met before. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Spencer
he is
does
in a row.
Spencer
Don't-
does
don't mind him.
everything.
Yeah, he is in a row.
Spencer does
Do you have another robe?
does whatever he wants to do, and then he does all of the shitty things that I
I wish I
make
wasn't
him
wearing
do.
jeans on this room.
Also, do you keep the robe here for like when you're cleaning, or
This was actually a friend of ours that did an all-white party, not to sound racist.
Jesus.
Form. And he came in, everyone was like really well
If it ain't white, it ain't right. Am I right?
Don't know if it's best.
It's just like goes with color blocks.
Cut the camera. Cut the camera. But everybody was like super well
see that
dressed, and
Modern
like
Family?
nice suits that were tailored, and he's the guy that owns the entire company, and so instead he just walked in a white fedora and a white robe. And I guess he got so hammered that he left.
In what? What was under the robe?
I
man? You
wasn't
just
there.
left?
I wasn't there. I
You
wasn't
just,
there.
you just.
I just found this robe yesterday and was like, "What's up with this robe deal?" It's from
Thanks,
the
man.
Wesson.
I'm glad you were.
I'm doing it just for you.
Don't
It's
throw
just
anybody
you and
under the
me
bus.
having fun with those Omaha jokes. Cliff gets a little bit, you know.
Spencer, have you had our chicken before?
One time.
Okay.
Not the wings though, but pretty solid.
Thanks,
By the way,
man.
one of my favorite things always is like, "Yeah, can I get some wings?" I'm like, "Well, they're like wings. Like,
They're not bar wings.
this is not like Buffalo Wild Wings." I'm like, "What do you mean?" I go, "We have."
Our whole thing, our whole thing was like I wanted people to come in here with like a really like low expectation. Like seriously, because I can only win. Right?
Yeah,
So like
sure.
you come in, you think
We
it's
know
a dive
all
bar.
about that. Setting
You know, it's like all right, I'm
expectations
walking
low
into
as
this
shit.
dive bar. I
Yeah.
expect dive bar food.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Yeah.
you come in, you order some chicken, and you're like, wow, they put some love into this. Like, this
Yeah,
is different
sure.
than what I expected. It's kind of like a movie when someone tells you the movie's amazing and you go see it and you're like, eh.
Yeah.
But if no
If it
one
tastes
said
well,
I know,
anything,
what you, I know what you mean.
and you
exactly,
go see
yeah.
that movie, you're like even more impressed.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not.
There's
what-
not too
you're
much
good
hype.
analogies, but
No,
There's not too much hype.
it's my
And,
best.
Like,
Yeah.
and you look at that, and it kind of is like, man, this is kind of shitty, right? It's like, but it looks really got like the feel is cool, but like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like
He's
old.
pointing at a sign
Yeah.
with like ransom letters on it. Like every letter
Yeah.
doesn't quite match the one.
So it's
before
it's
it,
one
is
of
what
those
they've done, I
like
think.
1970s boards I
Yeah.
found
Shit, like
at a
60s.
at like
Yeah.
a thrift store.
But it just
out
like,
in
yeah.
Forney. And I was like, that would be so cool.
Oh,
Like,
was
you
it
know?
at
There's like a strip of them
yeah,
out in Forney. I did a lot of my shopping.
DeRitters?
Yeah.
DeRitters? Was that the
I think
was
so.
that the one?
It's been
Was that
Yeah,
someone's
there's
last
three
name?
places that your pops was
My
talking about.
my old man
Yeah.
has those three. There's DeRitters, and then there's one that's like two names of two people. It's
Yeah.
so and so and so and so.
But they had a lot of
And then one has the
cool
like
shit there.
F-16,
Cool shit.
like
I did-
the old
I did
like
all my shopping
vintage
there.
jet
Yeah.
out there.
half the stuff I got here. I just got it
Like
antique
that TV,
stores.
a Scotch TV. We have a TV that's been destroyed, and shelves have built to
That's
hold
booze in it.
Scotch.
40 bucks in Fort Worth. That cost me 40 bucks in Fort Worth. And then Max
thing-
Scarby, my buddy
Yeah.
Max, knocked out the tube in it. And he built shelves. And
We knocked out the telly.
that's
Yeah.
a
Telly.
Scotch box.
It's like an aquarium with no fish, you know. But
Yeah.
liquor.
That would actually be.
But I see
dope
what you're
shit
saying.
if
It does have that feel. But then when you have food or a drink, you're just like, oh shit.
I think I'm
You know?
obsessed with the 70s too.
Yeah.
It's a
And,
1978
And so a lot of the
Magnavox.
music is from
All
the
your parents
70s
had it.
here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's kind of part of it. This was not planned. It was just like,
Dude,
you know,
that
a
is-
happy accident.
we
Yeah.
winged it. We just like, all right, let's wing it. And
That's the definition of a dive bar, and
Yeah.
I've been trying to define what that is.
Fuck it.
it's like
No,
it's like
no.
don't overthink it. Let
But
it
it's-
come. Let it
but
come,
you
and you'll get
can't-
an idea.
You can't like fake funk, and
Right.
that's one of the things that makes cool, funky places cool. You have to.
day, bro.
Funk comes from a sense of necessity, and if whether or not that necessity is like a budget or what the hell am I gonna put on this wall, like that's where like
Yeah.
the real
Do you-
the real shit comes
Yeah.
from.
Do you
Because you
ever-
have to look and you have to say I can't afford a couple things before like the awesome shows up. You
Yeah.
know, there's a cool answer that's obvious
I
right
like
there
the
that costs
word.
so much
I
money.
like the word soul.
Yeah.
And like I'll walk into some bars and I'm like, the first thing I think about is, it has soul or it doesn't have soul.
Yeah.
And if you're like getting like nothing against like a designer of a restaurant, that's
Yeah.
great. But
The
You know-
vibe and the feel you get from a place, like
it's kind of
it
have to.
doesn't
It has to
character,
kind of come
soul.
naturally and
That's
from
my-
an authentic place.
No, that's my rough spot with bowls and tacos. Is I've got like half a soul in that space. You know, like the cool building has its own things, and all of the
It's
the
unique
clean
as fuck,
the
I will tell
clean
you that.
finishes have kind of like pushed some of the soul out the door, but we're trying to usher it back in. You know? So there's those beautiful old red brick walls. People are like, oh, did you spray acid all over this wall to have it look like this? It's like, fuck no, it's just 100 years old.
Right? It's
Like,
kind of like those, it's like those pair of
acid on
jeans that you wore for a long time,
know
and
that
then
was
those
a thing.
jeans like now
Yeah.
are cool because
Yeah.
they're worn in.
yeah,
kinda
has that
acid
little
worn
bulge
jeans.
where your nuts sit,
And then
you
it,
know?
like much respect to
That's why I'm
like
getting harem joggers. My nuts are too big.
much respect to our regulars that bring in like chickens from all over the world.
That's
They bring
pretty
us
cool.
presents, and
That's
so we
pretty
have,
cool.
man, we're running out of room
Yeah.
to put chickens, but they all.
Yeah, the biggest cock is right there.
That's my big red cock. Yeah.
There's a place in Denton called Lou's, Lucky Lou's.
Lucky lose.
They have little Buddhas everywhere.
Yep.
And so they bring them now to Lou, and just like from anywhere they go around the.
Did you go to UNT?
Yeah.
Same
Is that
here.
what we're supposed to do?
Go Mean Green.
But yeah, man, like as we were doing BrainDead, it was like, what should we do here? And people walk in, they're like, man, this design's so great. It just looks
It's
great.
so phenomenal.
We didn't do shit. It's like, put that there. Put that there.
Yeah.
It's like all just comes together, you know?
Organic.
We
Organic.
glazed right past this, but I want to really give a proper answer to your question. Yes, he did go to UNT, and
Yes.
yes, I mean, him and his wife like met at Lou's, and like, you know,
Holy shit, so you
Lou
know-
is a part of my life, and I've been to Denton like twice,
Yeah.
and he's a friend of mine only because Jeff and I are friends, and like Lou comes down, he's like, "What's up, Sam? Real recognize real," and we're like not even homies, you know? But like just
You're like, "What
because-
up, Lou?"
Just because Jeff
What up,
likes me, Lou's like, he must be pretty cool, you know? And like I get,
What
the,
years
I
did
get
you
the
go?
what up, you know?
I don't know that.
Fair
The
enough.
what?
Cheers to that.
All right, I
This
think
is
we're
probably my last sip,
we're
yeah.
done. Yeah.
We're wrapping up.
So-
If you drink that hot sauce, you're the fucking
Guys,
man.
if you're still all the
Spence,
way
do
here
it.
at the end, I really appreciate you being diehard. We've got 7 people still watching live. That's pretty awesome right now. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. Come be one of our subscribers. We're up to about 35, 36 subscribers on YouTube, so we're getting there. Mark Rebier, here I come. I'll be at 30,000 in no time, just like you, cool guy.
Cool guy.
I want to thank Cliff. I want to thank Ian
Thank you.
for
Thank you, guys.
being our guests and hosting at a super secret location. What's your chef's name again?
Ray Morales.
Ray.
Ray.
And then
Chef
thanks
Ray.
to Chef Ray back there who crushed out some badass food. Spencer showed up. Anton, Central Track, my people, thanks for making this thing happen every week. It wouldn't be the same without you. Pete's even watching here, chiming in on his own time. So I appreciate all of you. You got some beer left here. I guess Cliff
I'm
has to drink
gonna
it.
help you.
Yeah.
Cheers, guys. And this is it. Thank you for the beers, guys.
And we are out.